Since our last message together.
I think the sound
Sorry,
cuts now.
I meant our last message together. What's new since last time, since our last lesson together? Anything new? Anything's been happening for you? What's the coronavirus situation in Spain, in Madrid? Any improvements?
In Spain, like in the rest of the Europe,
Yes.
the government
Government. Remember,
government,
you need to
yes,
pronounce the
government,
first
yes,
O of the word government with
government
like it's a U.
wants uh,
Government.
government
Yes.
wants to apply the why
What is it they want to apply?
uh, mm,
It's not a it. It's not a
no, no, no.
quorum. No. Testing?
It's,
They want
it's
to test everybody?
curfew.
Ah, curfew. So you can't go
Yes.
out after, well, like in Indonesia, all the shops are closed at 6 o'clock, all the businesses, everything is closed at 6, and
Because nobody.
nobody outside after 8 o'clock in the evening.
No, yes, in the for example, in Paris too, and in Belgium, in the
Yes.
rest of the Europe, the Europe is the
Hmm.
same.
Yes.
Because the first
Hmm.
focus of
Focus. Be
uh,
careful how you say that word. Focus.
focus,
Focus.
uh,
Focus. Us. Focus.
focus.
That's
Okay,
better. Excellent.
focus.
Yes, very good.
Okay,
Hmm.
because the main focus
Focus,
um,
yes.
is in the relationship with family or friends,
Yes. You would say
people
with the family, not with family. You would say with the family
with the
and with
family.
friends. With,
Stayed at home
yeah.
normally together,
Yes.
um, and I think the government um, wants to cut these meetings. I think
Ah,
at
so the
9.
oh, I see. So the government doesn't want the families to meet together at home.
Mainly friends, young
Mainly
people.
friends. Hmm.
Yes, young people stay together in a flat or in an apartment.
Yes.
Because the bar close
Hmm.
soon, I think. Depends
Yes.
of the city. But
Yes.
in Madrid, at 10, I think. At 10
Oh, they're
or
open
11.
until 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock in the evening. Wow, that's
Yes.
late because in
Ma
Indonesia, after 8 o'clock, you mustn't be outside after 8 o'clock in the evening. And all the businesses, restaurants, etc., they close at 6 o'clock in the evening. Oh, 10 or 11 o'clock, that's very
in Ma
relaxed. That isn't strict at all.
well, but in Madrid is soon, I think.
Oh,
In Spain is soon.
what time is the curfew in Madrid?
Depends of the bar. Depends. There is a cafeteria, cafe.
Hmm.
Perhaps is close at 8 in the afternoon.
Oh, eight. So that's
Or 9.
yes, quite late then, 8 or 9. And what time do the people have to be inside? What time are they not allowed to go out of their houses?
What?
What time do people have to stay inside their homes?
Now?
Yes, at what time are they not allowed to go outside?
No, no, no. They can
They can
go
go out?
out. Yes,
Really? Anytime?
yes.
24 hours a day, 7 days? Wow, that's freedom.
Depends of the. There is in Madrid.
Yes.
Madrid is in alarm state
Ah, state of
now. 2 weeks.
emergency. You would say state of emergency. I'll write that down for you.
Emergency.
State
Yes.
of
State of
emergency.
emergency.
Yes, that's right. Hmm.
But the only things is madrileños, Madrid
Yes. Mm.
have no cannot go out to Madrid. only stayed in Madrid.
They cannot go outside Madrid, so they're
Yes.
limited to Madrid. So
Yes.
instead of limiting them to stay inside their house
Mhm.
after 8 o'clock in the evening, like in Indonesia, they are just limited to stay within Madrid and they can't go outside Madrid. So if they want to go to Barcelona, they have to wait until
Yes.
after the pandemic, when the coronavirus is all finished, then they can go to Barcelona. But at the moment, they
Yes.
need to stay in
No.
Madrid. Mm.
Because Madrid, the number of infected people in Madrid is higher than in other rest of Spain.
Right.
Um, Last week,
You wouldn't say in other rest of the Spain. You would say it's higher than in other parts of Spain. That's all
than of
right.
other parts.
Or you
Okay.
could say it's higher than in the rest of Spain. That's all right. But you can't mix the two phrases together. It's either
Okay.
one using the word other or the other sentence using the word rest. But you can't use both together because it's like saying twice the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You see, other parts and the rest of, once again, you're
Okay.
referring to twice the same thing. Yes.
Yes. Last week, last Monday,
Yes.
was bank holiday in Spain.
Oh, that's lovely. You had a day off. That's nice.
Yeah. Uh,
Excellent.
uh, um, Madrid inhabitants
hmm
um, mm, would like it go out to Madrid,
Of
stay
course.
in the beach,
Yes.
and the government cut
Mhm.
this point
Oh.
with a state of emergency. No move, no
Yes.
move.
No
Only in
moving.
Madrid. No
You
moving.
didn't say no moving. That's right.
No moving.
No moving. Not no moving.
Yes.
Not no moving. So
This
they
is the
have.
reason, I think.
That's the thing. Well, I mean, if it helps the situation, if it limits the spread of the coronavirus, if it enables the amount of infections to go down so that we block and limit and stop the coronavirus, then I know it's difficult, but at least it's a good thing because it means less people will catch the coronavirus, less people will die from the coronavirus. So I don't think there's much choice. I think we need these preventive measures. Uh,
Yeah.
of course, it's not very nice. It's
Mm.
awkward. It complicates people's lives. But after all, it's better to have
Mm.
a complicated life than no life at all. Do you agree with me, Chris?
Yes, yes, I agree.
If you have to
Uh,
choose.
I think the other problem is the economy, but it's very difficult to to maintain
Maintain?
the healthy
Maintain.
economy.
Are you
Maintain.
are you saying maintain? Is that the word you're looking for? Maintain.
Hmm.
Is that the
Yeah.
word you wanted to say? Maintain. Yes,
Yes.
that's right. It's always a delicate balance between
Yeah.
people's health and the health of the economy. I mean, we're looking
Hmm.
at the two different healths here. Now, is it better for people to be healthy or is it better for the economy to be healthy?
Yeah.
Is it better for people to be alive or for the economy to be alive? It's a life or death situation. So,
Eh,
yes,
Here we said it's important to breathe,
to breathe, to
sorry.
breathe.
It's
Because
important to breathe,
breath
but
is the noun, breathe
ah,
is the verb.
the verb.
So you
Okay.
talk about a breath, okay, but the verb is to breathe, and it's written
Okay.
differently and pronounced differently. You see that, Chris?
It's important to breathe, but it's
Yes.
important to eat too.
Of
So
course,
both
of
things.
course. But you see, if you don't breathe for more than how many minutes is it? 3 minutes or something, then obviously you're dead. For eating, well,
One
for
month, more
what
or less.
1 month, even 40 days. 40
Mm-hmm.
days in the Bible is the longest fast without
Mm-hmm.
eating. And some people who do hunger strikes, they can even last 2 months without eating. But then sometimes there's negative consequences to the body. But they're not dead after 2 months. But if you don't breathe for three minutes,
Yeah.
you risk being dead or severely brain damaged before death. So obviously, it's important for both, but breathing without dying when you're breathing, let's say, is more critical in the short term, whereas not eating, well, is less critical, and especially in the long term, you see. So you can last much longer without eating than you can without breathing. So
Yeah.
if we have a lockdown, even for 1 month, even for 40 days, it's just like a fast, and it's biblical. So it's,
Yeah.
according to the word of God, it's absolutely fine for people not to eat for 40 days. And I think that if we have a lockdown for 40 days, which is quarantine, I mean, quarantine is 40, like quarantaine. Remind me, you don't speak French, do you? No.
No, nothing.
Okay. But
Nothing.
it means 40.
Mm-hmm.
Quarantine traditionally was, I think, 40 days. So you see, if we have a time of quarantine, a 40 days lockdown, where people only drink but don't eat, and they stay at home for 40 days, well, imagine if the whole coronavirus situation is sorted out. If we do that all over the world for 40 days, well, there won't be any more infected cases. We could eradicate the whole of coronavirus in the whole world if the whole world were to fast for 40 days, not eat for 40 days, and stay at home, locked up for 40 days. So there's no more new cases, and there's no more coronavirus. What do you think, Cris? Do you think that would be a good idea?
I
Difficult
think
question. Difficult question.
yes, it's difficult.
Yes.
I think if people um, if people was more
Were, or people is a plural word. So if people were
were
more, okay,
were um, more responsable
responsible. So
responsible.
this is how
Okay.
you pronounce responsible. Okay, responsible.
Um, mm, um, and we cut all social contacts, only
Hmm.
the minimum. Um,
Hmm.
no stay together inside of the buildings. Blah blah. With max,
Masks with the
max,
plural, masks. Yes.
max. Um, uh, Maintains the distance.
Not mention that.
So
Maintain.
maintains the distance.
We maintain the distance. There's no S in that word. We
Okay,
maintain distance. Yes.
okay, we maintain the distance.
Hmm.
Everything will be distinct, I think. The
Everything.
situation,
Everything will be. I didn't hear the word you said after everything will be.
the situation
Yes.
will be different.
Different. Oh, of course.
Uh,
Absolutely.
in China,
China. Yes.
in China, the situation is right.
Exactly. If they can do it
No,
in
no,
China,
no
yes,
people with coronavirus.
that's right. Exactly. Now, if
It's
they can,
a normal life
I know
now.
it's brilliant. I mean, but they were very strict in China. Do you remember?
Yeah.
They were so strict that they were locking people inside their buildings, the flats, the apartments, the big blocks of flats. They were actually sealing, bolting, and actually with I don't know how it's called, welding. Welding. When they go they were
Hmm.
actually drilling and bolting and welding the doors shut of the building. So even if people had keys, they couldn't open the door because the door was blocked. They were blocked inside. Can you imagine?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was very strict in China. extremely strict, and there was police in front of all the big buildings to prevent the people going in and out. But you see, now we have good results.
How long? 1 month or more or less?
About a month. I can't remember exactly, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, but I think it was about a month. But and look at the results.
Yeah.
As you say, in China now, we have a good situation. And if the whole world could do this, I think we'd have a good situation in the whole world. What do you think, Cris?
Yes.
Yes.
In Spain,
Mm-hmm.
in last June,
Yes.
the president said Spain. What's the Spain overcome the coronavirus.
That means referring to the past, has overcome or will overcome. Is it past, present, or future?
Past.
Ah,
Overcome.
so overcame.
Overcame. Yes.
Yes.
Overcame.
So,
Yes. Sorry.
okay. Spain
The last June
overcame the coronavirus.
the coronavirus
Yes.
when or in Spain
You can also say Spain has overcome. You see, overcame is the simple past, like the simple perfect, but you can say has overcome because that is then the past participle when you conjugating that verb with the verb to have. You see? So you either say overcame or has overcome.
Okay. Spain overcame the coronavirus the president said last June when all fast, all
Or what did you say? All
uh,
fires? Or
the all regions in Spain,
all regions in Spain,
yes,
yes.
Spain finish the quarantine, open
Yes.
the bars, the store, it's more or less a normal life.
Oh, that's good. Excellent.
Yes, but in summer,
Yes.
people relaxing,
Oh,
and the
that's right.
coronavirus stayed sleeping,
Right.
and in August.
hmm Really? Wow.
In August,
Mm.
we the infected people increase a lot. In July,
Yes.
a little. In
hmm
August, more. In September, more. Now in
Yes.
October, we have in the second wave.
The second
No,
wave. Yes, this is
yes.
really the second wave now.
But
Yes.
in August, perhaps the points are locate.
Localized? Oh,
Loc
located.
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 This a focus,
Focus. Focus.
focus.
Yes.
But now it's the second wave. So
Yes. That's right. But if we
uh,
could do this with the first wave, why can't Spain deal with the second wave in the same way as they dealt with the first wave? Can't they do the same thing?
no, yeah, but in the first week
Yes.
we stayed locked down 2 weeks,
Yes.
all closed.
Yes.
This is this is the way to stop the coronavirus,
Of
I think.
course. And
But
what
the
is Spain waiting
economy,
for? Oh,
economy
it's
is
to the economy. Oh, yes.
many people in the unemployed.
Are unemployed. Many people
Unemployed.
are
Many
unemployed.
people are unemployed.
Yes.
Business closed.
Businesses
Businesses
are
are closed.
closed. Yes.
Yes, businesses are closed. I don't know. I don't know what happened. If uh, I think the lockdown is the last
The last
decision.
resort. The last
Yes,
resort. Yes.
yes, I
So
think.
they would choose lockdown as a last resort. That would be the final solution.
Yeah.
Um, So they're trying to avoid the lockdown, even though it was successful in dealing with the first wave when they locked down for 2 weeks. But they feel that the economy wouldn't be able to withstand another lockdown for 2 weeks now with the second wave. Is that right, Cris?
Yeah, yeah.
But if you think about what it costs when you have more people infected, I'm not only talking about human lives being lost, I'm also talking about the medical resources for all the people in the hospital, etc. And if you calculate that, would that be more expensive for the economy than being locked down for 2 weeks? What do you think costs the economy more? More cases, which obviously is a drain on medical resources and on financial resources, or a lockdown, which of course is a drain on the economy, but which is the bigger drain? I mean, of course, when you're not having a lockdown, it's also draining people's lives away. It's also having the human cost, which is in addition to the financial cost. But what would you say, Cris? Mm-hmm.
I don't know. In Spain, in March,
Yes.
Spain locked down.
Yes.
Because the hospital,
Hospitals, plural.
the hospital
Hospitals.
were full.
The hospitals.
The
Like,
hospitals,
yes, hospitals.
the
That's right.
hospitals were full.
And they're not
Nobody more. And I think only in that situation,
that's when they lock down, when the hospitals are
yes,
full.
only
Right.
in this situation,
Only
because
in that.
yes,
Be-
but it's a pity, in my opinion,
yes. To
that
wait so long, yeah.
it's a pity because in March, last March, coronavirus is new. Nobody knows the real situation in
Right.
each country. I don't know,
Yes.
but now we know the situation.
Right.
We know what happened. We know everything and
Mm-hmm.
stayed in the same situation.
Yes.
It's incredible. I think.
Yes.
It's a pity. I think
Yes.
because we don't learn from the past.
Exactly, because you know the expression history repeats itself. Have you heard of
Yeah.
that expression before, Cris? Yes. Now, what is the situation at the moment with the hospitals in Spain? Are they
No, it's
full or
controller.
not?
I think
Sorry?
until now, controller.
Yes.
Controller. I
Under
think
control. So the hospitals are not
yes.
full.
The,
No.
the, for example, in Madrid, if the infected people increase, they lock down street, ¿cómo se dice? Neighbors
A neighborhood.
or
A neighborhood.
neighborhood
Yes.
or village, small village by areas, different
Areas. Be careful how you pronounce
areas,
that word.
uh,
Areas. Yes.
areas. Okay. No, Madrid.
You don't say no, whole Madrid. You say not
Not.
the
Okay.
whole of
Okay. Not.
Madrid. So you need to have those articles and
Okay.
the correct word not instead of no.
Not
I know
the
in
whole
Spanish
Madrid.
they say know this and know that, but you have to have not in English. That's right. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
So I don't know.
Yes, it's a difficult situation, Cris.
And in Indonesia?
Well, in Indonesia, actually, things are a little bit better now because we used to be, as I think I told you before, first in the red zone, the place where I'm living in Indonesia, where the coronavirus started. The first cases of the coronavirus started in the hometown where I'm living. And can you imagine the whole of Indonesia? And it has to start in our neighborhood, in our hometown. Amazing.
Yeah.
And So last month we were declared a red zone, which basically means a danger zone. And then after that, we were declared a black zone. Now, black zone is like a no-go zone, a death zone, black for death. It's even worse than red. It's even worse than a danger zone. So that was when we had the lockdown or the curfew for the businesses and shops and restaurants, etc. At 6 p.m., 6 o'clock in the evening, everything was closed. And at 8 p.m.
Normally,
yes.
when is the normal time to close?
Oh, normally everything's open till about 10 o'clock in the evening.
Okay. But for example,
and restaurants even later than 10. But most shops, all shops usually close at 10 o'clock in the evening. And then restaurants can stay open till 11, 12, 1 o'clock, anytime really. And some places are even open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Some places.
Yeah.
So 6 o'clock in the evening is very early, obviously, for Indonesia, if most shops are open till 10 o'clock in the evening. Now, and people were not allowed to actually go out after 8 o'clock in the evening. So if the shops closed at 6, that gave 2 hours for the people who were doing their shopping to return home in case there were traffic jams, because there's loads of traffic jams in Indonesia, especially in the capital, of course. And sometimes it can take 2 hours just to come home after shopping, you see. Oh, yes, absolutely. Even going to work, 2 hours, coming back from work, 2 hours, shopping 2 hours. People are spending more time on the road than at home or even at work. It's crazy. Anyway. But so 2 hours allowed people to be back home before 8 o'clock, and once it was 8 o'clock in the evening, it was a curfew. People were not allowed to go out of their homes, their houses, after 8 o'clock in the evening, unless there was an emergency, of course. If somebody was dying and they needed to go to hospital, of course they can go out after 8 o'clock in the evening. But unless there was a very good reason, you could not go out after 8 o'clock in the evening. So that was very strict.
It's like
like a
wait. It's like a curfew.
It is a curfew, but that's exactly what it is. It is a curfew. It is a curfew first for the shops at 6 p.m. in the evening, 6 o'clock in the evening, and then for the people, they had to be at home and stay at home after 8 o'clock in the evening. So it was very strict, and it lasted a few weeks, and when we were in the black zone. And then now, because it was so strict, now we are no longer in the black zone, which is a good thing. We are no longer even in the red zone. We are in the orange zone. Can you imagine? So in the orange zone, they've taken away all of these curfew restrictions. So now the shops can be open again normally. People can go in and out of their houses anytime normally. But we still have to wear the masks. You see, that's why it's orange and not green. We still have to wear the masks. We still have to do the social distancing, It's actually different for each country. Some countries say 1 meter, some people say 1.5 meters, and some people say 2 meters.
In Spain, 1.5 meters.
1.5 meters.
The minimum.
The minimum is 1.5 meters. Yes.
What happened if people stayed at home?
Not stayed.
No, sorry. What happened if people stayed out?
Stayed out, yes.
Stayed out after the age.
If they were caught by the police out after 6 o'clock, no, 8 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah.
they have to pay a fine of 100,000 rupees. Now, how
I
much
think,
do you think that is? Yes,
I don't know,
100,000 rupees.
perhaps 100 euros? No,
No, don't forget.
more.
No. It's Indonesia. It's
Yeah,
one of the three lowest costs of living in the world, you know.
yeah.
So you always have to divide, sorry, by about 20 when you're going from the Western world prices and costs to the Indonesian prices and costs. So if you divide by um, 20, it's about 5. Well, actually, it's a little bit more than 5. It's
Hmm.
6 euros. But 6 euros isn't very much. I mean, for the Indonesians, it's a lot of money, you see, because 6 euros is like 100 euros for us. But for
Yeah,
the you know
there's a,
for the Indonesians, for them, 6 euros, it's like 100 euros for them, because for us 6 euros is nothing. But for them,
yeah,
6 euros is like 100 euros, in their
incredible.
economic system. But
Yeah.
because I'm like an expat, I'm like a digital nomad, and so I'm earning, with Italki dollars, American dollars,
Mm-hmm.
not Indonesian rupiahs. And so when you have the exchange rate, for $1, you have like 15,000 rupiahs for just $1. And when it's euros, you're up to about 17 and a half, nearly 18,000 rupees for just €1. So when you think that the price of a hot meal from a street seller in the street, how much do you think it would cost for a hot meal from a street seller in the street in Indonesia? Well, how much is it in Spain if you were to have a hot meal from a
Hot milk,
street?
1 liter, for example.
For one
Or
person, one meal, hot meal, from a
one
street,
euro, I think.
€1 in
Yeah.
Spain. It would cost €1 for a meal for one person. Okay. Well,
It's a
remember,
glass of coffee or milk.
yes, yes, or a hot meal,
Yeah.
hot food, €1. Well, don't forget, you always need to divide by about 20. Well, it's nearly 20 because it's not 5 cents, but it's 6 cents. Well, of course, you
I,
divide by 20. Everything's divided by 20 because everything is 20 times less expensive in Indonesia. So if
I'm
you think,
going to
yes,
to the on holiday the
you must come, Chris. I really encourage you to come. You're very welcome. Please do come. It, yes, you will love this place. I mean, it's by grace, of course. For me, it's
Yes.
absolutely miraculous. I'm living in a place where everything's almost free. I'm not paying euros when I buy things. I'm just paying cents. I'm just paying a few
Ah,
cents for everything I buy. I'm not even paying euros. I'm paying cents, and
incredible.
it's absolutely amazing. It's wonderful. It's
Yeah.
miraculous. This is a
Yeah.
blessing from the Lord. This is really a blessing from God. If you're
Mm-hmm.
able to come to Indonesia, you'll love it.
Mm,
Everything's good about this place. It's wonderful.
yes.
Yeah.
I think in Spain, if I don't know what happened when the police found 20 guys in a flat or together.
Hmm.
I don't know what happened. I don't know.
Hmm.
But the situation changed if the police
Changes. The situation
changes the
changes because
situation. The
this is
situation,
something that happens
yes,
regularly, so it's
yes.
present. The
The situation
situation
changes
changes, yes.
if the police
If
set a fine, for example, 1,000 of euros.
Oh yes, if it's €1,000, nobody's
Nobody,
going
no, no,
anything.
nobody move. at home, I think.
Nobody's moving at home. Nobody's going to break
Yes.
the law.
No moving, not at home.
They're not going to do anything.
So I think this is the key.
This is, of course, the key, because that's why in Indonesia we had exponential infections and contagion because, when it's only €6, even though for them it's €100 in their mind or in their system of money, because you see, they only earn about €200 a month on average, the salary, that's the average salary. But if it's a low-paid job, like working in a restaurant, you only earn €50 a month. So if you're earning €50 a month, €6 is already more than 1/10 of your monthly salary, you see.
Yeah.
So €6 is quite a lot if you're only earning €50 in the month. And if you're caught several times, your whole €50 could go and you have no money left to live.
Yeah.
So that's why, but even it's not much. So obviously the tourists, I mean, they thought it was a bit of a joke, really. So the tourists don't bother, wearing masks or doing social distancing or respecting the curfews or anything, because if they have to pay, €6, I mean, they could just pay it like that. They could even pay €6 hundreds of times, even thousands of times, and it wouldn't really affect them very much.
There is tourists now in Indonesia, or
No.
no?
When I say tourist, I mean the Westerners, the expats like me, expatriates, or the people
Okay,
who are
but
digital nomads, or the people who are stuck in Indonesia because they can't go home because
yeah.
there's no more international flights. So some people are stuck in the countries where
Yeah.
they were when the coronavirus started. Now, for me, it's different because I'm no longer a tourist. I'm an official resident. I have my resident status, resident card, and next year, the beginning of next year, which is just in a few months, I will go from a resident to what's called a permanent resident, because once you renew twice your temporary residency, then you receive permanent residency. Well, they call it permanent, but in fact it's only 5 years because they want to keep the money coming into the government. So they make you renew it every 5 years, but it's still better than having to renew it every year. And so that means I only have to do the procedure for renewal once every 5 years instead of every year. And it's wonderful being a resident of this country, I love it
Yeah.
so.
Yes.
By grace, of course, by grace. It's a blessing from the Lord, yes. It's brilliant. Yes. I really love this. Everything's good about this country. Oh, except for the mosquitoes, the cockroaches, the geckos, the lizards, the spiders, the rats, the ants everywhere.
Yes.
Oh, yes. But it's not really dangerous. I mean, there isn't any malaria, and not, at least not in Jakarta and in the areas around Jakarta, which are the built-up areas. It's only in the jungles of Borneo and other places like that. Then obviously in the jungles, because there's some places where there's jungles in Indonesia, then of course there are mosquitoes with malaria there. So those places are dangerous. But where I'm living, just south of the capital, Jakarta, there are no malaria-carrying mosquitoes. So, I mean, of course, it's not nice to be bitten by hundreds of mosquitoes every night, but it's not dangerous. So
Yeah.
it's just a little uncomfortable. But I mean, uh, it couldn't be perfect because otherwise it would be like the Garden of Eden, you see. So God had to do something so that it wouldn't be like paradise on earth, because obviously perfection doesn't exist on earth. Perfection is only in heaven. So God had to allow some negative things in
Yeah.
Indonesia, and that's all the insects, the rodents, the reptiles that are all over the place, you know, even in your homes, you watch them going up and down the walls, flying all around you, running.
Because
Um,
this is due to the weather or
no,
the vegetarian.
no, this is all the time. It's not just because of exceptional weather. Well, of course, it's tropical weather. You know, we're on the
It's
equator.
raining or
Very hot. Oh yes, we're in the wet season, the rainy season. So there
yeah.
it's like raining with torrential, tropical, monsoon downpours. And it's so loud you can almost not speak to a person standing right in front of you because it's so loud. You almost have to send, you know, text messages, SMS messages on the mobile phone to communicate with a person. Now, I have an information here that it's much better living in a clean country where you can drink safely from the tap. That's another thing. In Indonesia, you can't drink the tap water because otherwise you would be very ill and you might even die if you drink from the tap. So you're not allowed to drink tap water. You're not supposed to anyway. So you have lots of mineral water, but even the mineral water. I mean, how much is the mineral water in Spain for a liter of mineral water, Chris?
1 liter.
1 liter of mineral water. Yeah. If
Well,
you buy a big container, for example, you buy one of these 19-liter great big containers, like with a water fountain, you know, when you press the button and the water comes out.
in the
Yeah.
supermarket,
Yeah, in the supermarkets, yes.
perhaps
Oh, I
1
forgot
liter.
to say, like in Singapore, in Southeast Asia, there you can drink from the tap, and in Europe as well. And also in Singapore and Europe, there's no pollution, but in Indonesia, there's lots of pollution. And also good products. There are good products with low cost in Europe as well. That's right. I just wanted to share that information with you. So you can find good products which are low cost in Europe, but they're not easy to find. And they'll never be as low price as in India.
Yeah. Eh,
Sorry, you're
eh,
saying yes.
in Spain,
Yes,
in the
a
the
supermarket
coast,
cost, yes.
the coast is like a Mediterranean coast. Nobody can drink
Oh, you can't drink from the tap in Spain?
from the tap. No, in the
Really?
coast, no.
Wow. I thought you could drink
Because
from the
I
tap
don't
all over
know
Europe.
exactly, but the you can drink water, you can drink,
Uh-huh.
but the flavor is strange, and
It tastes funny.
normally
Mm-hmm.
people when I go to the coast, I
Mm-hmm.
I buy bottles of water because
Yes.
you can drink. No that, no ill.
Mm-hmm.
It's potable.
Yes,
It's
drinkable.
okay.
That means
Yes,
it's drinking water, yes.
yes. But um, but the flavor is strange, I think.
Flavor,
The
flavor.
flavor. The flavor.
So, potable, that's Latino way of saying it, because in French we talk about de l'eau potable, which is the same as in Spanish, but in English we say drinking water,
Hmm.
and we talk about the flavor being strange.
Flavor.
Yes.
Okay.
Another information I have here, we can find good lemons and oranges in very good condition in Europe. That's true that sometimes the condition of the fruit isn't always that good, especially when it's local produce. But when we have imported produce, obviously then we have imported prices as well, much, much more expensive, then it looks really good. But when it's local produce, it can look quite bad, quite, you know.
In Spain, the vegetables, the fruits are
Vegetables,
vegetable, vegetables,
vegetables, yes,
vegetables.
yes. And fruits, yes,
Yes, they are very good. It's
of
from
course.
Spain, from the country,
Oh,
from the
yes.
countryside.
Mm.
Is
It looks
yes.
good. Yes, I know. It looks very nice. So you were saying that in some places you have to drink the mineral water, the bottled water, but how much would it be if you were to buy, you know, in like
In a
a supermarket?
supermarket,
Yes,
a bottle of 5 liters, for example,
yes, 5 liters. Yes.
um, 2 euros or 3 euros. Two.
Okay, if it's 2 euros, okay, and it's five, then it works out per liter about 40 cents per liter, because
Yes.
2 euros divided
If
by
you buy a 5 liters,
5
it's
liter,
more,
it's
yes,
more
cheaper
advantageous.
than one
That's right.
liter.
That's right. So here, for you, it's 40 cents per liter, even though, it works out at 40 cents, even if it's a big amount, 2 euros
Mm-hmm.
for 5 liters, it works out at 40 cents per liter. Each liter costs
Mm-hmm.
40 cents. Well, here, instead of it being 20 times less, because everybody in Indonesia has to drink drinking water, you see,
Mm-hmm.
and it's available everywhere. And there's competition between, different water companies.
Yeah.
And because it's so important in Indonesia, it's not 20 times less, but it's double 20 times less, which means 40 times less, even less than 40 times less. Because for you per liter, it's 40 cents, and for us, it's less than 1 cent a liter. So you can have 19 liters for 18 cents. So a 19-liter water container, which you don't even buy from the supermarket, you just buy from the corner shop, the
Mm-hmm.
local, water supply shop, which is
Yeah.
just people in front of their own houses. They can do their own shops. A lot of people have their own shops in front of their own
Mm-hmm.
houses. And so they're actually selling water almost like privately, because, it's just having a few things available to buy in front of your house. You're selling
Mm-hmm.
things like to people going by on the street. And
Mm-hmm.
so privately, they are selling a 19-liter water containers, and good quality. It's Danone. You know the brand Danone? Let
No.
me write that for you.
Ah, Danone, yes. Like a
Danone.
yogurt?
You like the yogurts? You know
Yes.
the yogurts, Danone, and
Yeah.
the milk and the,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
yes, the
yeah.
milk drinks, Danone. So it's good quality water. It's Danone, and it costs less than 1 cent a liter. So for 19 liters, it costs 18 cents. So if you've got 18 cents for 19 liters, that's less than 1 cent a liter.
It's
Isn't
a
that wonderful?
present.
It's a present. It's almost a gift. So
Yes, it's a gift.
that's right. It's absolutely wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
As I say, I just love this country so much. It's so absolutely brilliant.
Okay.
So if you have the opportunity to come to Indonesia,
Yes.
if you can take the next plane that goes to Indonesia,
Perhaps the next year or I don't know when.
uh,
But I told to you
mhm.
first
Yes, of
to
course,
preparing the trip.
sure. I will help prepare the trip for you. So I have an
Okay.
information here saying we shouldn't compare the development of a country like Indonesia with a fast growing country like those in Europe. So we can't really compare the third world, which are still, have a developing economy, compared to the first world, which is the Western world. So comparing the third world with the Western world, third world with the first world, obviously it's totally different. So we can't really compare. It's two totally different economies. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes Indonesia has criminality with fake products, you see. There's a lot of false products. I mean, not more than anywhere else. I'm sure everywhere else there's much more than Indonesia. But in Indonesia, just like all countries, there are fake products, forgery, counterfeit products, illegal products, which are copies of the original, but obviously much lower quality than the
Mm-hmm.
original. So
Yeah.
that exists in Indonesia like everywhere. So that's why I say it isn't perfect in Indonesia, but it's as close as it's possible to reach, as close as it's possible to be to perfection without it being perfect, you see. And it's the
Mm-hmm.
next best thing to perfection. So for me, in the world, I don't know any other country as good as Indonesia.
I know, I know.
I know, absolutely amazing.
Okay.
So tell me, Chris, how did you like the lesson? Was it interesting?
Yes, interesting. Yes,
Yes?
I
You,
like it.
you, you liked it. Oh, that's wonderful. I'm really pleased for you. That's good, Chris.
Okay.
Wonderful. So thank you very
Thank you very
much.
much.
You're welcome, Chris. And I look forward to
Bye
our next
bye. See
lesson
you the next
together.
time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Thanks a lot.
Bye
Cheers. Bye
bye.
bye.